Hey, I'm in the Broken Arrow Performing Arts Center right now, and the reason we're here is because our team is starting to prepare for our in-person gatherings again. And one of the reasons that I'm so excited about being able to gather together in person again is because we get to worship together. And for the people of God, for really all time, worship has always been more than just music. It's good music, hopefully, right? It's an opportunity to sing songs that we like and hopefully songs that make us feel something, but worship is more than emotion. It's more than a band playing, and it's more than just entertainment or something to fill time in a service. Worship has always been the pathway to breakthrough. Worship has always been the way that we open the door for God's supernatural power to be working in our everyday life. In fact, in the book of 2 Chronicles in the Bible, starting in chapter 20, there's an amazing story. You probably heard it, but there's a battle that the nation of Israel finds themselves in, and the king says, the battle belongs to God. God has told me that he's going to win this battle for us. And so because the battle belongs to God, we're going to put the band in front of the army. Now, that sounds great unless you're a member of the band. We have to go first to face what 2 Chronicles tells us was 3 armies coming together, all sort of in battle array against Israel. And I think that's a really wonderful picture of maybe where we find ourselves today. Not really just fighting one enemy, fighting a whole bunch of them. There's a virus, and there's this sense of dissent and disagreement and division in all kinds of different people groups for different reasons, political reasons, racial reasons, all kinds of issues that are not just far off. Many of them are in our own family, issues with our marriage, maybe an issue facing us with our kids or our business. Maybe it's our job or it's a financial issue. And it feels like there's this whole battle lined up, this whole army lined up against us in battle, and we feel outnumbered. Well, I think it's a beautiful picture that God goes out of his way to say, I want to show you something, not just for you here today, but for everybody that will look back on this moment and see me work. I want you to see something. I want you to see that when we worship God before the victory ever happens, it opens the door for God to work. And that's exactly what happens in 2 Chronicles chapter 20. The army is advancing with the band, the choir out in front, and they're singing this. They're singing in verse 21, "Give thanks to the Lord, for his love endures forever." Now think about that. They're giving thanks before they ever see God do anything. And it's a beautiful picture of where we find ourselves right now. That we have an opportunity right now to gather together, to lift our voices as one and say, God, we believe that you're working even when we don't see it. Even when we're not sure how it's going to work out, even when we don't know exactly what you're going to do, we believe that you are active, and we can trust that the battle belongs to you. And I think the writer wants us to learn something from verse 22. It says this: "As they began to sing and praise, the Lord set ambushes against Ammon and Moab and Mount Seir, and they were defeated." Even though the battle belonged to God, the worship was the moment the battle was won. And it's in the moments when we're worshiping, it's in the moments when we invite God's supernatural presence into our gathering and we say, God, we're turning our attention to heaven. We're giving it all to you. Although we feel helpless, we know that we are not without hope. So my encouragement for you is this: during this season, when you maybe feel like it the least, worship the most. Praise the loudest. Believe that God is going to show up. Believe that he has an answer. Open your mouth and let his word come out of you. Let songs of praise come out of you. It may be new to you. It may feel weird to you, but I can promise you this: the God of heaven and earth is watching. And when we worship, we declare to all of heaven and all of hell and everybody in between, we are not the only ones in this fight. There's a God who's working on our behalf, who has an answer, and who works in the life of his worshipers. He always has, and he always will. So starting on July 12th, we're going to begin to gather again. And I would love for you to join us, not just because we're excited about the social aspect of church, but because I'm excited about the supernatural aspect of church. I'm excited that God is going to show up in your life. He has answers for you. He has hope for you. And no matter how dark the skies around you seem right now, we serve a God of blue sky. We serve a God that breaks through the darkness and brings light and life to his people. I can't wait to see what God does as we begin to gather on July 12th, 10 a.m., 4 p.m. right here in the Broken Arrow PAC on Main Street, right in the heart of the Rose District. I hope you're able to join us. Bring somebody with you that you know needs a little more hope and a little more joy. We believe God's going to show up. He's going to be here as we worship. We love you guys.